Well, hello everybody. I wanted to come on because I was going to do one of my "Hey Germ" type videos, and I was going to gloat a little bit about what happened over the past couple of days with YouTube and deplatforming and brigading by Jeremy Hales and his brigade of losers, as well as Danesh Noshirvan and his brigade of bots and attacks on YouTube account. I was gonna do like a couple of little, short videos that I do, but somebody told me, "Look, Rich, just go live. You go live on the YouTube channel and throw it on Substack, and then just cut it up later, and you could have a lot more fun doing that. Take a few minutes. I'm only going to be on for about 10 or 15 minutes just to get the message out and put a little piece out about it later. But for people who don't know, I was attacked. I'm a journalist, and my channels, Luthmann News, which is the dissemination channel for my media, and I have several different outlets: Florida Gulf News, FL Gulf News, New York News Press, and also I have the Family Court Circus. And then I publish on Substack, and I also publish on Newsbreak, and I have other places I go as well where I'm a contributor. Uh, but it's pretty clear I'm a journalist. I give over 1 million, monthly reads. It's getting close to 2 million monthly reads now. And I'm not even pushing that. That's just getting stuff out there, and people like what I have to say. And there's a lot of people that don't, but they don't read me. So I'm not going for people who don't read what I have to say or like what I have to say. I'll go to people who think that I'm interesting. But when people don't like what you have to say, the basic, in our system, in the American system, in the Western system, it's if you don't like your speech, the answer is usually more speech. And what the group that I'm going against, I'm going against several groups because I'm doing reporting about them. They're called cancel culture groups, and so what we've found out is that these groups, they don't like speech unless it's their own. So they don't think that free speech is the answer for what they do. And what they do is they try to amplify their speech, but they try to destroy everybody else's ability to have speech. And nowadays, the speech is only as good as the delivery methods, the platforms you have to put it out on. And so one of the hello, Sylvie, how are you? One of the issues that we have is the fact is that they try to take these platforms. I talked a little bit about this the other night on Two Lees in a Pod, Lisa Lee's podcast, and Robbie Kesey was there about how they have these brigades that go and try to game the algorithm for certain platforms. Like YouTube is the perfect example. You get what's called a mass reporting attack, and I was the victim of this mass reporting attack by Danesh Noshirvan. Hi, my mom. How are you? By Danesh Noshirvan and by Jeremy Hales and by their brigades. And how I know I was the victim is because their videos that I've done about them were the ones that were being complained about. The only people that can really complain about those videos that get sent to you are the people who they claim they're in the videos. So they're the people, and they had mass reporting and all sorts of other different stuff. And so it hit me with copyright, and they hit me with said it was pornography, and they said it was bullying and harassment. So 2 weeks ago, I wake up at 7 in the morning, get an email, and it says, your YouTube is gone. You have no more YouTube channel. Bye-bye. Like, what the hell's going on here? So I looked through, and I had all these copyright claims, and I basically put in the notices for every one of those copyright claims. There were like 15 of them. Then on top of that, there are harassment claims. There's all sorts of this other stuff. And so I get on the horn right away with YouTube. I start doing all the emails. I do everything that I'm supposed to do. And, it took me 2 weeks to get my channel back. But within those 2 weeks, I was able to really dig deep into what these people were doing. And it's called brigading. And I don't know if people knew that. I've heard of brigading before this, but I didn't really know the full the full definition of brigading through a lot of the places out there and through the terms of service and the conditions. But brigading actually is something that's a real problem with cancel culture, and it doesn't just talk about online activity. And so what they were doing online was they were going and exploiting a weakness in the algorithm because they would go in and they do all these mass reports, and then the algorithm, oh, but this guy must be a bad guy. We have to take this channel down, and there's no human review. So they're taking what's called a design defect, right? A design defect in the algorithm and the terms of service that they promise the users, and then they turn around and these brigades are exploiting it. So the goal isn't to get the channel, to make legitimate claims. It's to make so many claims that the channel gets knocked out. So you lose your platform, you lose your speech. And so that's what happened to me. For 2 weeks, my channel was gone. But it was the funniest thing because I put in the copyright claims, and I come back and I win all the copyright claims. And then they go back and they say, well, you have other claims too. You have legal, you got this, you got that. And I turned around and I went in and I said, okay, let me go in and I'll go review these all one by one. I put one by one answers in for them, and YouTube legal looked at it. I was go back and forth with people in YouTube, and they accepted it. And Sylvie's like, who's smart enough in what the hell's world to orchestrate that? And basically, Sylvie, it's not about being smart. These are not smart people. They're very, very stupid people. But what happens is, if they do a mass of complaints about one channel, and they tell people complain, it's not a human being that's on the other end in the first instance. It's an algorithm. It's a computer. It's an AI. And so they automate it, and they go in and they say, oh, this person must be bad. Let's turn off their channel and then figure it out later. And that's basically what they're going for. They're going for this, let's turn these people, let's knock them out, let's knock out their channel, let's say harassment, let's make them get copyright strikes, let's make them get, claim that there's pornography, that there's all sorts of crazy stuff that there's not. And it's all lies. And they're being very, very dishonest people. That's what they are. They're dishonest people. And so that's what was happening here. Now, Danesh Noshirvan, he made the complaints too, but he takes it to another level because he's not just, Jeremy Hales and his minions. He's got like a bunch of stupid people that follow him. Jeremy's got like followers, and they're just very, very stupid people. They've been conned into his cult. Danesh actually has people that follow him, the mostly mental patients and whatnot, and total psychopaths. But he also has AI and bots. So when you have Danesh, something happening with Danesh, you have to say what is real and who are the real people and who are the bots, who are the AI, who are the bots, who are the fake people. Because a lot of that with Danesh is fake. With Hales, you see the Hales people, and I'll give it to the Hales people. They're actually human beings. They're living, breathing human beings. They're stupid, but they're actually living, breathing human beings, and they're out there and they have their accounts, and they think that Hales is some type of entertainment and that he's smart and he's this and he's that. Well, Danesh doesn't have that. Danesh is smoke and mirrors, and that's been proven time and time again by Frank Parlato, the great reporter, and by others in the reporting, and I've done some of the reporting to show that this is AI. We had Joey Camp on, and have Joey Camp on probably next week or the week after to talk about some of this stuff too, and some other people. But the Danesh stuff is all AI. And so what they did was they tried to knock me out, not because of anything other than I'm right over target. I'm getting way too close because I have litigation against these people. And so that's what I was saying about brigading has online, consequences, but the offline consequences is this brigading is a form of harassment that leads to consequences. Okay. And so consequences. Oh, Sylvie says she thinks the germ is a bot. It's like, you know what? He might be a bot. He might have some bots in there. I don't think it's as pronounced as Danesh, but I wouldn't say that he's not a bot. But there are a lot of real people there that are really, really stupid. You got to give it to that. There are people that follow him and like, believe what he has to say like it's gospel truth. But that's because he's a televangelist. He was trained as a televangelist, and he was trained as somebody who taught as in divinity. He was trained in sermons and everything else. So I don't know. We'll figure that out. But I know somebody asked a question about what I thought about. Let me see. Let me put that up. What do you like to put on Tucker Carlson, Candace O, and Megyn Kelly? Maybe you could do an article. Yeah, maybe I will. I don't like what they're doing. I really just don't. I think that Tucker has been just chasing, and more so Candace Owens even been chasing outrage market. They're saying these crazy outrageous things. They're trying to get to audiences, but at a certain point, they're trying to balance out the world that is going to be post-Trump. That's what everybody's looking for. It's 2026 now. The 2028 election is just a little over 2 years away. And so people are trying to get themselves positioned for what the world's going to be and where they're going to make their money. And people are saying, okay, well, Trump is almost out. You know, they're going to be shut out for the next 2 years, right? For in the administration, so to say. But they're trying to like position themselves for 2028. Now, what I've heard about 2028 is that Vance is the guy. I heard that Rubio, he will stay on and do something in the next administration if Trump asks him to, but he much would rather go into the private sector because he's a very smart lawyer and he has been in public service for a very long time. So you think about 15 years or so, I think even more, he's been in public service and he's been a great public servant. He probably will go down as the best Secretary of State that we've ever had, maybe. He's right up there at this point. But, he hasn't had a chance really to make any money. And so I think he could be president one day, but I think he wants to take the situation where he wants to go and take care of his family right now and make some money. And Vance is the guy. I think Vance is everybody's starting to get behind Vance for the 2028. So I can write an article about that. I think that this is all the Megyn Kelly, the Candace Owens, the Tucker Carlson is all about a positioning for 2028 and beyond. And so, it is what it is. Candace Owens is she's lost it. People say like, the Kanye crazy. I think she's a new level. So but that's enough about that. I want to get back into what I was saying about this. And so I'll go into the fact that the reason why the brigading is such a big thing is because there's real world consequences. The harassment extends to the real world, but it also extends to real world activities. So the situation becomes, I have lawsuits against or with Jeremy Hales and Danesh Noshirvan. Jeremy Hales sued me. He brought me into the court in the Northern District of Florida. I was covering the Danesh Noshirvan case as a journalist in the Middle District of Florida, and then he calls me all sorts of terrible things, like I'm a child stalker and a pedo and all these other. Well, no, I'm not that, and I'm not going to stand for it. So I had to actually sue him in the Middle District of Florida. So I have those two lawsuits. And so this brigading is kind of related to that litigation conduct because it's not just a legal battle in that sense. It's also a media battle. That's really first and foremost. These people don't know the law. They're pretty stupid when it comes to the law. And I'm going to show some stuff in a couple of minutes that really, hits that home. But they need to make media content and they need to fight the media battle because they think they can win that one. They're not going to. They're losers. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to fight them, and I'm going to do what I need to do. But the brigading is a way that they fight, and it's kind of it's dirty tricks. That's really what it is, it violates the YouTube terms of service. So and I talked on Lisa Lee's show, and Lisa's here, I think. I talked on her show about how this brigading is a problem. Because it's a design defect, and what we're seeing all that with the big tech companies now, it's like their big tobacco moment. There's cases out of Los Angeles and New Mexico where this design defect theory is really starting to get traction. That these companies have a knowingly and a recklessness about how they go about things. So when you have a company that has like YouTube that says, I promise you that you're going to have a safe environment. I promise you you're not going to get harassed. I promise you you're not going to do this and that and the other thing. We're going to do our best efforts to do it. And they employ this algorithm that's so easily gamed by brigades. And then once these brigades are identified, they really don't do much to the brigades. That becomes a problem. That's 1A. 1B to that problem is that the brigades are led by people who are YouTube quote unquote partners. So they're monetized. Now, Mike Volpe, who's my podcast partner, we're going to do something later today to put out. He likes to say that a lot of these channels are just rounding errors. They can get rid of channels, and it's a rounding error for their revenue, and that's true. But the larger point is about contracts and about products. They've turned their terms and conditions. That's a contract. That's what you agree. But they've turned their algorithm into a product because it's a design system, and it clearly has a defect on it. So that's something that could potentially be explored. I talked a lot about this on Lisa's show, and I put the link up to Lisa's in an article, and you can take a look at. And I'll be writing more about that, and be doing more about that legally potentially with that. But I do want to talk about, and I'll put that article up. I do want to talk about, the two cases that are going on right now, because that's really the mooring point to all this. That's why they attacked me. Jeremy Hales is worried that he's going to lose his case up in the Northern District of Florida, and Danesh Noshirvan's worried that he's going to lose 4 of his cases in the Middle District of Florida just because of my coverage and what I've been saying, because I bring the truth. So this is the article that I have that was put up on my page in several places, and this is about the Hales Brigade under pressure and the demonetization dominoes. This is my appearance on Lisa, and Lisa's there, and then Robbie's on as well. And in there, I can show, there's Robbie and there's Lisa Lee and Robbie, but there's the whole key to this case is this video. I'm not going to play it here because I don't want to get 15 different challenges, but you can go to my Substack page. You go to any other page and see this video. And what it is it's satire. It's 100% protected satire. And so why is it satire? Because the Supreme Court of the United States told us so. And this is the most famous thing right here. This is the Jerry Falwell ad from Hustler magazine. Okay, and what this Jerry Falwell ad is the basis for Jerry Falwell's 1988 win at the United States Supreme Court. And what he did was, Jerry Falwell was a conservative preacher, from the South, and he, Larry Flynt turns around and he's like, getting into it with him. He's just being Larry Flynt. He's being an antagonist and everything else. And he makes this ad, which is satire. It's Jerry Falwell talks about his first time. And if you read the ad, it's about he imagines that Jerry Falwell's first time is in an outhouse with his mother. Okay. He also talks in other places, especially his depositions, about Jerry Falwell and farm animals and everything else. But Jerry Falwell brings a huge defamation lawsuit and an emotional distress lawsuit, right? And the lawsuit turns around and it says, well, they said all these things, and it's so emotionally distressing to me and everything else. And so it gets all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States, and the Supreme Court of the United States says, no, it doesn't work that way. The First Amendment would be destroyed if every public figure could claim that parody or satire was distressing to them. Nobody would be able to say anything. You'd have people that would be getting sued left, right, and center. So what happens is, after that, it was clear that satire, even if it's an emotional issue, it's emotionally distressing issue, is fully protected. And that goes back up to this argument that they're trying to say that there's a statute in Florida that allows for quote unquote revenge pornography. Now, revenge pornography is a situation when you have an actual video that is pornography, and there's somebody out there that releases intimate encounter between a person or several persons or a group of people or whatever. It was an intimate sexual encounter, was never meant to be a public video, gets released. Then people can be liable for that. People can also be made liable, and there's a Megan Thee Stallion case that just came out in Florida for deep fakes. If you make a deep fake of a person using them and using the deep fake, and you turn around and the deep fake it becomes a pornographic material, then there's liability there too. I think one of the people got hit for $75,000 for a deep fake of Megan Thee Stallion. The video that I have here that they've been talking about, okay, it has no pornography in it whatsoever. The four corners of the screen, if you look at the screen inside the box, there's nothing there that's going on. That's pornography. There's no nakedness. There's no sexual acts. There's nothing. Nothing that's going on in the screen. The video's actually, if the voice is Andrew Tate, and it's a satire comparison to Andrew Tate and his pigheadedness and his pimping a hoe. That's what he talks about, and how Jeremy Hales is doing that with Megan Fox, who used to be a journalist, and she's pimping herself out for journalistic purposes. So it has a legitimate value in that it's satirical, the same way that the Campari ad with Jerry Falwell had a value to poke at Jerry Falwell, poke at sex in America, poke at religion, poke at hypocrisy, poke at several different things from Larry Flint's perspective. But mine is even more so that it doesn't fall under any type of quote unquote revenge porn statute, because in order for it to be revenge porn, it has to be an intimate encounter between people. It could be somebody alone. They could videotape themselves alone, and it was intimate. It was never meant to go out, or between two people, three people. They are not admitting that Jeremy Hales and Megan Fox had sex with one another. They're not admitting that there was an intimate encounter between them. Okay. And I clearly don't think they're admitting that this was a realistic simulation of a sexual encounter between Jeremy Hales and Megan Fox. I think if they're going to say that that is the case, then they've lost it too. They've lost the because if they look at the only cases that have been that come down under that statute, the Florida statute, are actual deepfakes. And if you look at the editing of the video, it's not a deep fake at all. It is a crassly edited, and intentionally so, almost like a South Park type editing. And so that's what we have here. They've got nothing to do with this case, and that's part of the reason why they attacked me. They don't want this video to be up anymore, and I'm going to continue to put it up because I think it's free speech demands it. But the big thing we have here is what I did is a notice of filing. And so I know Lisa, and well, actually it's better with this a little bigger here. Lisa and Robbie and Ray Bone Crusher and the rest of the people who are defendants in the case, are all out of this case. The judge dismissed them from the case, and there was a chance to amend the pleading, and everybody's out because Jeremy didn't amend. But now he wants to amend through Randy Schock and his lawyer, and he wants to amend it by going and getting everybody else out, but adding Rich Luthmann and adding Michelle Preston, and turning around and saying that we're only suing for two basic things. One is an abuse of process, or for Preston, and for me, they're trying to say that there is it's the revenge porn statute. So in order to do this stuff, and this is the was filed in the court a couple of days ago, in order to do some type of motion, there's a rule in the court that's called the local rule 7.1b conferral. And so that means you have to actually try to talk to the other side and resolve the case. And I basically talked about this on Lisa's show. I sent this in, and it's a filed document now. But the motion that Randy Schock, that Hales' lawyer, filed is defective. He's not a very smart lawyer. He's a pretty stupid lawyer when it comes down to it, because he did not confer with me. And when he confers with me, there are things that we would have talked about. And this talks all about how Rule 7.b requires it. It's a local rule, and it's clear that the motion is going to be dismissed there's no conference. That means he can bring it again, but me and him are going to have to get together, and I'm not going to do a telephonic unless he agrees to it being recorded and taped, because I don't trust the guy. He's already lied before in his pleadings, and he's lied here. So if we have to go the distance, I'll talk about it. But the big thing is, and there's the brigading. We have a lot of brigading going on, but the big thing is that there are three big issues in the case. There's a lack of personal jurisdiction, meaning that they never served me with papers. Okay, subject matter jurisdiction. They don't have $75,000 that they need in federal court, because you need to get $75,000 to be in federal court if you have people from two different states. Jeremy's from Ohio, even though he lives for a bunch of the year in Florida. He's an Ohio resident. I'm a Florida resident. So you have two different states. You don't have $75,000. How can a video like that cause $75,000 worth of harm? Well, he has to show it caused me harm for these reasons, and it caused these people to think poorly of me. It caused me this harm. Here's the economics of it. I've done less money because this directly because of Luthmann. That's not what we have here. And then the third part is the scope and viability of the amendment. And that goes to what we just talked about with Jerry Falwell and Hustler Magazine and Larry Flint. This case is going to get thrown out as a matter of law. This is not something that satire cannot be presumed to be, something that's actionable here. It's now if they want to go to discovery, we're going to go to discovery, and that's the thing that me and Volpe have been talking about. And one of the things that we've talked about is, do I go and do I try to just answer them? If I answer this, I just say, look, and that might be my response. I have my response due in a few days for this motion. If I put the response in and I say, Judge, here's the issues that are in the case, the 3 issues that I talked about. We didn't confer on them. Even if we do confer on them, I really could care less. I want this case to go to discovery. Let him put the amendment in and have a chance to answer so I can do my own polymop. And what that means is that I could turn around and then file an answer and a counterclaim. And then in that counterclaim, I could third-party complain in other people. A third party means I could sue other people. Well, Jerry Hales already paid the filing fee, so I could bring like 10 other people in my counterclaim, and then I could just make them part of the caption and then bring them in the case. In addition to that, I can now have subpoena power. I can go, because it's discovery, the federal court has to sign off on my subpoenas, and I get everybody in the Hales brigade. I get Megan Fox, and I get Tug, and I get Shizzy Wiznuts, and I get Jay Jip, and I get Rosalind Duke, and Shara, whatever her name is, Sarah Michelle Wolf, and Mr. Coop, and so even some of these other people that are on the Facebook groups that are talking about stuff. I get to show, because discovery is so wide and broad in this case, I get to show that I need to ask them for some documents, some document requests. So I can get document discovery from these people, and the court will command them to produce documents, and I can have it served on them. And then I can turn around, and if they don't comply, they'd be sanctions. Jeremy Hales loves filing sanctions motions against Michelle and against John Cook. Hey, John Cook's here too, and against other people. But the issue becomes, okay, well, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? Equal protection. And so I may turn around. I'm fighting with Michael Volpe about this. He doesn't think I should do it. He doesn't think I should turn it into a circus. But I'm saying that Jeremy Hales already turned this into a circus for the last 2 or 3 years, right? Before that. So he's turned this bad neighbors thing as a circus. So, it is what it is. That's what's going on with the Jeremy Hales case. We're going to decide what I'm going to do with it next. But their whole brigade is crazy, because I'm over the target, because they know that they're going to lose that case as a matter of law because of the Falwell case, and they're going to look stupid. But I don't think they realize that I want to come over the top and really turn this into another 3 or 4 year circus myself to create my own polymop. And that's what I talked about on Lisa's show. I might even sue YouTube and sue the brigade under this design defect theory, that they gained a known defect in the YouTube system, and that YouTube was reckless in what they did, and therefore they should pay punitive damages for it. I may bring that case. Who knows? It's a lottery ticket for me. I don't care, and I discuss that a lot. But that's the Jeremy Hales portion of it, and then the related part of it is the stuff on Danesh Noshirvan. Okay, and Danesh Noshirvan is in a situation. Let's put this back up. I can actually show it from here. The Danesh Noshirvan stuff, and that's this guy right here. This guy his name is Nick Chiappetta, and one of the reasons why they're after me right now is because I'm destroying Danesh's cases in the Middle District of Florida, and Danesh is after me, on what I'm doing. And so I put this out today. Nick Chiappetta's bar troubles just got real. And this guy, Nick Chiappetta, he's the lawyer for Danesh Noshirvan, and he's facing some very, very heinous grievances at the Florida bar. He may very well lose his license. He might be suspended from the practice of law for a period of time. And if he's suspended from the practice of law, that means he's out on the Danesh Noshirvan case. And if he's out on the, and I'll play this part. This actually is a pretty funny part. I don't know if everybody's seen this video, but this is a satire video, another satire video that they complained about. The brigade came at, and this is clear satire, and it's marked as such. But I'm going to play this video for everybody. You can see kind of the funny stuff that's out there, because this guy he has a paraphernalia conviction from Illinois. This is a real conviction on his record. He's still a lawyer. He's got a paraphernalia. I think it's a misdemeanor conviction, and he's being sanctioned or facing sanctions by the court and by the grievance department. And in the last court appearance, the judge even said, you do this, you continue with your activities, you're going to be sanctioned. So I'm going to play this so everybody can see it.
I kept telling Whitney to cut out the loose shit. It's a waste unless you cook it. I tell Marta the same thing. Damn, you love your paraphernalia. Let's get out of here before I get sanctions.
Yeah, so that's a video, and that is a satire video. And it's clearly marked as satire. It's based on newsworthy issues. Obviously, you have public figures here. Bobby Brown. Everybody knows who Bobby Brown is, right? Bobby Brown is the husband, the former husband of Whitney Houston, right? So he's a public figure. Everybody knows who Bobby Brown is. A recording artist in his own right and everything else. So he's fair game of the public figure. Nick Chiappetta is an attorney. He's part of the federal litigation, and it's become a newsworthy issue about his sanctions and everything else. So that's fair game as well. And this is a satire video. It's clearly marked that they're there, but they come in and the brigade attacks this video because they're worried. And what they're worried about is the fact that Nick Chiappetta may very well be suspended from the practice of law, which means it would tank Danesh Noshirvan's cases. And here's what we got here. We have his grievance committee. This just came out a couple of days ago. Richard Luthmann, and there's a guy named Scott Kevorkian. I don't know if he's related to Dr. Kevorkian, but it sounds like he's Dr. Kevorkian's doppelganger, at least. And that's a lawyer for Chiappetta. He got Dr. Kevorkian's brother, I guess. I don't know who that is. But the grievance committee is considering the matter, and the bar council is investigating the matter. Now, people don't understand how much of a big deal this is. You send stuff to the grievance committee, and Bruce Manskin sent stuff to the grievance committee about Randy Shockett already. Okay, and he sent stuff to about Randy Shockett, and he comes back, and he's a lawyer, and they sent the letter saying, "Oh, we can't deal with this. We'll come back later." Blah blah blah. But to get to this level where we're at, where the bar council is considering this, and they're bringing it before the grievance committee, this is huge. This is like the guy is going to get some type of discipline. It looks like he's in big trouble. This guy William Mulligan is the bar counsel. He sends a letter to everybody, and then the Florida bar says, they have the notice of the assignment. So you have 10 more days, they say, from the date of the letter, so the 21st till the end of the month, I guess, to submit any more materials. We've submitted a lot of materials already to the Florida bar. We'll see if they want any more. Maybe I'll give them another dump. But it's a live disciplinary file. And there's Chiappetta with his favorite thing behind him, the ambulance, because that's what he does, in my opinion. He's an ambulance chaser. But the fact is, this guy, we had a situation, and this is an actual letter that he wrote to me, an email. We just had gotten out of a mediation, and the magistrate judge, Nicholas Mizell, is a very nice man. And he said, okay, we'll use some court time. Maybe we can resolve this case. And I told him, I'm like, listen, I don't want to be in court. I got media to do. I got stories to cover. I got everything else. Pay me $10,000. I'll go away. I left it at that. I said, it's a simple amount. It's the cost of the defense. It's not me trying to do anything other than saying, pay me to go away. And we could all go about our lives. Well, Nick Chiappetta turns around and says that I'm a terrorist, and he says that I'm attempting extortion, and he says I have a better chance of winning the lottery. And then this extortion all occurred under the auspices and the guise of a settlement, brokered by a judge. So he's saying that the federal judge is somehow involved in extortion or an extortionate type enterprise called mediation. I don't know how he gets that. I don't know how an attorney can say that. I don't know how a human being could say that. That's not stupid. But usually, when you're a lawyer, you're not supposed to be that stupid. They have rules against being that stupid when you're a lawyer. But he actually put it in writing. He's a very, very stupid person for putting that in writing. And so that's going to be a big problem for him. But that's what this guy is. He's a problem. Now, this is what we're dealing with. You want to see who Danesh Noshirvan is? I will play this for you, and maybe you don't know who this guy is. I'll play, and you can see who he is.
The Ayatollah is paying me. That is right. We have an agenda to turn America into Sharia law. You will see. حاضر باش. الان میبینی میشه. حاضر باش. میبینی.
Now that's what this guy is. He's an Iranian, and he goes and he says he's an Iranian anchor baby, right? And this is the part. I'm going to play. I'll come back up to this, but I want to play something else. This is what he does. He goes on to the internet, and he basically tries to destabilize the American Republic. But he also talks about things that he's done in Iran too. So he's
این اولاغ گوه خر تو رو کمک نمیکنه. اصلا نمیخواد کمکت کنه. نمیخواد کمکت کنه. میخواد بیاد روغنتو بدزده، برش بومتم بکنه. هر کیم بمیره، اگه پسر خالت بمیره، عمت بمیره، مامانت بمیره، میره چیکار میکنه؟ میگه تروریست بودن، حقشون بود بمیره. همین. کمک اینو نمیخوای، با اینم تو رو کمک نمیکنه. تنها چیز که واسه این مرد مهم هستش که چه اسبازی تو هپی میلش اومده امروز، یا ببخشید چه اسبازی تو هپی میل ویکتیمش اومده بود. ویکتیم نمیدونم چجوری فارسی بگم.
So that's what this guy does. He goes on and he's got a channel, and he wants to destroy America. That's what he does. And so, this is what he does, that in Farsi to talk to people potentially in Iran, because I think he simps for the Islamic Republic of Iran. I believe that he's an unregistered foreign agent, and I've submitted documents to that effect to the State Department and to the authorities. I believe his mother who is not a U.S. citizen by birth. She's actually a naturalized citizen. I believe that she still has allegiance to the Islamic Republic of Iran. I've submitted documents to that effect for an investigation. I think Tom Homan and all the folks should actually investigate whether or not this guy is like some type of plant by the Iranian government. And it's scary because this is what the guy told his followers and all the people, millions, because he's got 3 million followers. He's a mega influencer. This is what he told millions of people to do. And these people listen to him. Listen.
We need to find solutions here. Every major city in the U.S., Los Angeles, Portland, Chicago, New York, you need to start setting up left-wing militias to protect your communities. I'm not kidding. This needs to be coordinated. And you guys should all be in touch too across cities. We need organized left-wing militias. There are too many right-wing extremist militias putting us all in danger. We need to defend ourselves. We need to have a group of people that stand there, a well-regulated militia that stands there when ICE shows up, because nobody is holding them accountable. The people need to hold them accountable for when they go too far, for when they're not welcome. In fact, let me be honest with you, they're never welcome. They're never welcome. When ICE shows up in your community, a militia should show up right in front of them and tell them to leave. It is your right as an American.
Shortly after murdering Renee Good, ICE agents went to a local high school that was on lockdown and assaulted the students when they came out of class. This wouldn't have happened if a militia would have kicked them out of town.
Defend yourselves against Trump's personal pedo racist army. Fight back against ICE. Just because they're federal agents does not mean they get to violate you. They killed all that was good. Let's show them what's left.
So that's what we're dealing with here. The whole thing that he said, it's not. This isn't a report. This guy's not a journalist. He said so. What he said about the school is total unadulterated bullshit. It's not provable. It's false. It's just what he's trying to do to rile some crazy people up to think that he's right, and then they go out there and they do crazy things, and that's what put police officers, it puts ICE agents, it puts everybody at risk, and that's what this guy's there to do. And that's why I think that he's a agitator. Definitely, he's a paid agitator, paid by, I believe, based on information, belief, and evidence, the foreign interests, including the Islamic Republic of Iran. Now he goes out there and he's got no respect for anybody. He has a black civil rights lawyer, Julian Jackson Fannin, who's with Dwayne Morris LLP down in Miami, Florida. Very, very, good man, and he's worked his whole life to get where he is. And Danesh comes and tells 3 million people that he's a low class racist, that he's a civil rights lawyer, black civil rights lawyer, yet he's a low class racist. Why? Because it suits Danesh's needs. He has not moored to the truth one iota, and that's what he says it. So the big part about Chiappetta is that they find each other. This Antifa-loving, Danesh has found an Antifa-loving lawyer. And what do these Antifa revolutionaries do? They'll do, any means necessary. That's the big thing that they do. They don't care who they hurt. They don't care what happens here. So they'll lie, cheat, and steal. And here we have a perfect example of it. This guy, Chiappetta, impersonated one of the other lawyers and got caught with the impersonation. Now, he makes this email address, the PTESQ1 at Yahoo, in order to look just like the PTESQ email that Traynor, the attorney, has. And then the best part about this, and you can't make this up, he tells on himself. He turns around and he admits that he made the email, and he said, well, I was just it was childish. That's what he said. So he told on himself. He admitted that he engaged in what I believe is criminal impersonation of an attorney. And then he turns around and he admits that he engaged in the criminal impersonation of an attorney. This guy's not the brightest one. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed. And he's just a scumbag. And we asked him a whole bunch of questions from the outlet, and we asked him all sorts of different things. And we asked him to come and come clean. Tell us what you want to say. We have all these questions here. Give us a statement, answer our questions. They didn't do it. They didn't respond at all. And the biggest issue we have is that Chiappetta and Danesh has an OnlyFans page, and it came out that he has an OnlyFans page. And we questioned him at the courthouse in May, and he wouldn't answer questions, but we'll play that right now. And then I'm going to link it back to Jeremy Hales. So stay tuned, because after we play this, I'm going to play a Jeremy Hales video that links Danesh Noshirvan and Jeremy Hales coordinating together with their lawyers to attack me, Rich Luthmann, which means that in my case against Danesh, I get discovery against Jeremy Hales, Randy Shockett, Doreen Turner-Inkles, and others. So this is going to be good. Now watch this. This is what happened this is the actual steps of the Fort Myers Federal Courthouse. This is how crazy this is.
Danesh, how long have you and your wife been swingers? Danesh, how come you admitted on the stand that you don't have 2257 releases for the underage woman that was in the video with you and your wife? How come, Danesh? Danesh, now's your chance to tell everybody. Danesh, where's your 2257 release for OnlyFans for your commercial pornography? How come you never filed that, Danesh? You have anything to say, Danesh? What do you have to say for yourself?
I don't like being near pedophiles. Can we get out of here?
Dinesh, are you the pedophile because you didn't file the 2257 release for your OnlyFans page? Dinesh, are you a pedophile for not filing a 2257 release for your OnlyFans page to ensure that the talent was not underage, along with your wife? Do you and your wife have sex with underage women on camera for commercial pornography? Are you aiding and abetting this, Nick Chiappetta from Lake Worth, Florida? Are you aiding and abetting this, Nick Chiappetta from Lake Worth, Florida? Are you aiding and abetting child pornography? Are you aiding and abetting the creation of child pornography under 2257? Did you even go to law school, Mr. Chiappetta? What Cracker Jack box did you get it from? What Cracker Jack box did you get it from, Mr. Chiappetta? 2257 was put in to protect children. How come you're helping your client hurt children by not filing 2255 to 2257 releases under Title 18 of the U.S. Code? How come, Mr. Chiappetta? How long do you expect to keep your law license behaving like this, Mr. Chiappetta? How long, Mr. Chiappetta?
And that's the point here. The point here is that we got a lawyer, a scumbag lawyer, and a scumbag client who are actually violating the law. And this law is a very important one, the 18 U.S.C. 2257. It's the model release law. If you've ever seen a pornographic movie, they have that, the disclaimer in the front, which says they have the model releases of the custodian of records. Danesh had an OnlyFans page, and he's supposed to be a custodian of records to show that none of the talent, the women that he had sex with, were underage. Well, he can't produce those records, and we have pictures with questionable women in them. One of them is his wife. He has two women and him in a picture in a sexual circumstance, and we don't know who the other woman is. He won't identify the woman. There's no model release. That's 5 years in prison, up to 5 years in prison. It's a felony for each occurrence. So this guy is a bad dude, and if you have the releases, produce the releases. And if you know who the people are, go get the release right now and say, okay, have the release. I didn't do anything wrong. Insulate yourself from the criminal liability. They don't do that. And Chiappetta is, I think, even worse. He defends him. Knowing all that's going on, he defends him. So Chiappetta is a bad dude. And and then this ties back into our buddy Jeremy Hales, because, and I do want to show that. I have a video and this is Jeremy's own video. Okay, you have to understand, this is Jerem himself, because he's very, very stupid, and he doesn't understand how things are, how things operate in this world. Okay, and so I'm going to put this up. This is what he put out. Because I want to preface this. Oh, here it is. I want to preface this with what has happened in the Jeremy Hales case for the last, I don't know, year, right? Not like, I think a year ago, like about this time, and Lisa can correct me, I think last April is when he first put me in the lawsuit at Fed 2. And he turns around and he's been trying to serve me ever since. He failed to serve me. So they filed the first lawsuit saying it was part of the, I don't know, the ecosystem or whatever it was. And so the vast conspiracy against Jeremy Hales. Well, Judge Bolitho and Judge Hinkle in the Northern District of Florida in Gainesville debunked that whole thing, and everybody, all the other defendants are out. But in July, he added me with another claim when he amended in July, his second amended complaint. And he said, Luthmann engaged in the production of revenge porn. That's what we talked about before, revenge porn. And so then after that, he tried to serve me with papers. Right now, Bearded's here too. How you doing, Bearded? And he tried to serve me with papers, and he turns around and he's like the retard. First and foremost, he thinks I'm living in New York. I haven't lived in New York in a decade. Okay, that's number one. Everybody knows that I haven't lived in New York in a decade. Okay, number two, he has me still listed as somebody in New York in the operative second amended complaint. He says I live in New York. They go up to New York and they claim that I'm served in New York, and they got Robbie's buddy G-Man. Swearing that a process server in New York served me with papers, or tried to serve me with papers in New York. G-Man is in Florida, never left Florida. He's swearing to something he has no knowledge of. That's a false affidavit. When you swear, it's the defective affidavit. You can't swear to something you don't have personal knowledge of. These people are so stupid. They're some of the stupidest people that ever lived. Well, then he tries to go get me, and he said, okay, Richard Luthmann, okay, so he's listed in New York, but let's serve Richard Luthmann in the state of Florida. He doesn't amend his complaint. He goes and he tries to serve Richard Luthmann in Ponte Vedra, which is right by St. Augustine. That's my father. My father gets the knock at the door, and he's not home. His wife is there. And the process server says, does Richard Luthmann live here? And she says, yes. And she hands her the papers. My father comes home. I was like, what the hell is this? So my father was very upset that he got dragged into this. And he filed in the Hales case, and they actually dismissed him from the case immediately. And they realized that it was the wrong person. And then finally, he comes in and he tries to serve me with the Secretary of State of Florida. Little as he tried to do, he could come to the door at my house, and he tried to come at my house, but he said that in August we had hurricane shutters up in a Florida house during August, and therefore nobody lived there. Think about that. In August, you have hurricane shutters up because somebody lives there. Because when the hurricanes come in the height of hurricane season in August and September, you don't want to get blown away. And so he used the fact that it was hurricane season, to try to hurt me. That he doesn't care about hurricane victims. He doesn't care about hurricanes. He's just a sick, evil person, Jeremy Hales. And so then they try to serve the Secretary of State saying I evaded service. Meanwhile, my address is known to everybody. Okay, it's known to the world. It's in legal documents. It's in publications. It's everywhere in the world in the state of Florida. It's a federal court. And the fact is that his lawyer didn't even check Pacer. If his lawyer looked me up on Pacer, it would have my address. So it shows that Randy Shotkin is a moron. He's a grade A, class 1 moron. Category 5 moron. And so the issue that we have here is that they tried to make this whole thing about serving me, but what they do it for this thing called polymop, right? Polymop, protraction of litigation, multiplication of proceedings, what gives them content. His content is shitty to begin with. I thought his storage stuff is okay, but he does this neighbors thing, and it's boring content. He lost half his audience since he started it. But at the end of the day, he needs to make more content about serving paint chips. So he calls me paint chips. And that actually goes to, the eugenics and the fact that Jeremy Hales is an anti-Semite and a eugenicist. And so is Megan Fox. They call me paint chips because I countered them when they said that, I was talking about, children, certain little children, that weren't living in the housing projects, so the ones that were affected by the lead paint, and they turned me into paint chips, and they have a eugenic type thing. They think that poor people, especially black and brown people, should be killed. They should die from lead poisoning or be brain damaged, and so that's a very eugenic type situation. But also his hatred for the Jewish people. He hates Jews, and that's not anything that's up for debate. He turns around and he calls Bruce Manskin Jews foreskin. And we had Rabbi Jacob Belinsky say that that's a disgrace and that's anti-Semitic because you had the covenant with Abraham and you had people, Jews that had died for the covenant of Abraham in order to circumcise their children for that religious practice. And so to make light of that is disgusting. He's a disgusting individual. Megan Fox is disgusting anti-Semite and eugenicist as well. But he turned this into a situation. He turned this into a situation where let's serve Luthmann, let's serve paint chips. But in so doing, he's made it so I'm going to probably take one of his houses. He's got a house in Ohio and he's got a house in Florida. And I'm trying to figure out which one I want to take because I'm going to be making a lot of money from him because I'm not going to be allowing this this complaint to go by without probably answering, counterclaiming, and taking his money. It's going to be a lot of fun actually to take his money. And so what we're going to do is he's admitted what he did was wrong. Okay, and I get two shots at him. I got a shot at him in this case in the counterclaim and the answer in Fed 2, what's left of it. But I also have a shot at him now in the case against Danesh, the cancel culture, group. And so I'm basically going to take his money. I'm going to take one. I don't want to be in Ohio. I don't want his Ohio house. I think what I might do is I might get, I might sue him and take his Otter Creek house. And that way we can make it better for everybody. I'm going to take his Otter Creek house after I sue him and win. And that way we can move him out of the neighborhood. And then we can just have a place for everybody to go visit. Bearded can come down from Connecticut and he can go in Jeremy Hales' house. We'll call it Bearded's house after that. It'll be a lot of fun actually. So we'll and then we'll have the memorial garden, the Jeremy Hales Memorial Garden, and it might actually be a memorial garden for Jeremy Hales. We'll put a tomb to Jeremy Hales in the garden. I think that might be a beautiful thing. So I'll win Jeremy Hales' Otter Creek house, right? We're going to get the Otter Creek house, and I'm going to win it in the lawsuit. So now I think we've made up our mind here on the live, right? I think I have to, I think I'm going to tell Volpe today I have to go and attack Jeremy Hales legally in court and take away the Otter Creek house from him. I have to get, $1 million judgment, and I got to settle for the Otter Creek house. I think that's what we're going to do. He has to leave Otter Creek, leave the state of Florida, carpet bag his ass back up to Ohio state land, up in that godforsaken place, Ohio, that nobody wants to be at. Tom Brady says it. Ohio is a godforsaken place. And if anybody here, I might like you. If you're from Ohio, I'm sorry. It's just really, it's a terrible, terrible place. It really is. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take his house from him. And so we're going to take the Florida House, and that's what the litigation is. But this is the most important thing that I'm going to show you today. This is what ties Jeremy Hales into the case right now. So let's see what we got here. We got here it is. This makes him liable in this case. Okay, I'm going to play this for you. I might play it twice because it's that good. He actually, through his own mouth, see the big mouth that he has made it so that I get discovery in the Danesh case against him, his lawyer Randy Shockett, and his lawyer Doreen Turner-Incolas, as well as with Nick Chiappetta and Danesh. So everybody ready? This is the price of admission right here.
He's finally been served after all of his dodging and fake addresses. Dick Luthmann is in another federal case in Florida right now for witness intimidation, defamation, and with the collaboration of their legal team, the plaintiffs, we got him served right there outside of the courthouse. He's in court right now, and when he's on the stand, this is day 2, all he does is plead the fifth or say, no, this is reporter privilege. He won't answer any questions. And yet, he's online saying he's going to destroy this other plaintiff. And even me. Remember when Deuce was their savior? And he's destroyed everything. His own credibility, his own business, his own law practice. And he's not out by any stretch of the imagination, even though this anti-team has brought other haters in. The counterclaims are going to be epic. Repeating known defamation. Rebroadcasting known revenge prong? Okay, it's an adult activity. You can put the words together with the letters. Let's spell it backwards. N-R... Wait, hold a second. I'm not good with letters. As we speak, adults are playing a child's game and deleting evidence, information, videos, messages. That's called spoilage. And that, my friends, is illegal. Who's the next to be served in this real-life Garbage Pail Kids story? Well, I could tell you, it's probably going to be a Target. You know, Cheeseland. I love Wisconsin!
So I think that we got him there. If you hear that, it's like, holy cow. Not only is everything that he said about the lawsuit against the ecosystem false, but he admitted the words within the first beginning. I'll play it again. Collaboration. I've collaborated with the defendant in that case, or the litigant plaintiff in that case, and his lawyers. He admits collaboration with Danesh Noshirvan, the person who is an Iranian sympathizer, someone who hates the United States of America, who looks to be an agent of a foreign nation at a time of war and hostility. He's supporting the nation that we're warring with right now, that wants to destroy us. That is who Jeremy Hales is in bed with. That is the type of character that we got from Jeremy Hales. He doesn't care. We'll play this again. That's who he's collaborating with. His own words.
He's finally been served after all of his dodging and fake addresses. Dick Luthmann is in another federal case in Florida right now for witness intimidation, defamation, and with the collaboration of their legal team, the plaintiffs, we got him served right there outside of the courthouse. He's in court right now, and when he's on the stand, this is day 2, all he does is plead the fifth or say, no, this is reporter privilege. He won't answer any questions, and yet he's online saying he's going to destroy this other plaintiff, and even me. Remember when Deuce was their savior? And he's destroyed everything. His own credibility, his own business, his own law practice. And he's not out by any stretch of the imagination, even though this anti-team has brought other haters in. The counterclaims are going to be epic. Repeating known defamation. Rebroadcasting known revenge prong? Okay, it's an adult activity. You can put the words together with the letters. Let's spell it backwards. N-R... Wait, hold a second. I'm not good with letters. As we speak, adults are playing a child's game and deleting evidence, information, videos, messages. That's called spoilage. And that, my friends, is illegal. Who's the next to be served in this real-life Garbage Pail Kids story? Well, I could tell you, it's probably going to be a target. You know, Cheeseland. I love Wisconsin!
So the fact is, through his own words, through that's 30 seconds? That 30 seconds is going to get me everything I need from him. That it identifies the plaintiff in a Florida litigation. The only other plaintiff in the Florida litigation is Danesh Noshirvan at this point. Oh wait, there's no audio. Oh, you got to figure out how the audio works. Oh Christ, I messed that up. Wait, I need to play it again with the audio? Hold on one second. Let's see. You can hear me though, right? Oh, Mama Joe says I'm a disgusting waste of oxygen. Why, thank you so much. Okay, let's go and see if I can't put this back up there as audio. Let's go. We'll remove that. Let's see. Disgusting waste. Oh yeah, put that back up. I think that's a nice one. You're a disgusting. I'm a disgusting waste of oxygen. I think if I put it up this way, okay. Let me stop that and put it up as a file, because that's a video file, right? And then I can take that and then it comes up. So I'm going to stay here.
Been served after all of his dodging and fake addresses. Dick Luthmann is in another federal case in Florida right now for witness intimidation, defamation, and with the collaboration of their legal team, the plaintiffs, we got him served right there outside of the courthouse. He's in court right now, and when he's on the stand, this is day 2, all he does is plead the fifth or say, no, this is reporter privilege. He won't answer any questions, and yet he's online saying he's going to destroy this other plaintiff. And even me. Remember when Deuce was their savior? And he's destroyed everything. His own credibility, his own business, his own law practice. And he's not out by any stretch of the imagination, even though this anti-team has brought other haters in. The counterclaims are going to be epic. Repeating known defamation. Rebroadcasting known revenge prong? Okay, it's an adult activity. You can put the words together with the letters. Let's spell it backwards. N-R... Wait, hold a second. I'm not good with letters. As we speak, adults are playing a child's game and deleting evidence, information, videos, messages. That's called spoilage. And that, my friends, is illegal. Who's the next to be served in this real-life Garbage Pail Kids story? Well, I could tell you, it's probably going to be a target. You know, Cheeseland. I love Wisconsin!
So that does so much for me, right? That does so much for me in my case. In my ability to go take Jeremy Hales' house in Otter Creek and the litigation that I'm in right now, because that's the focus now of litigation. We focused our litigation on taking Jeremy Hales' house in Otter Creek. He just admitted towards the end of the video about the spoliation of evidence, that people are destroying evidence. So that means that if there's one piece of evidence missing from where it should be for Jeremy Hales, the court's going to hold it against him. Because he knows, he told everybody in the world about the spoliation of evidence. But the most important part of the video is the first 30 seconds. I'm going to play it again because it admits that Jeremy Hales is working with Danesh Noshirvan, right? The known, Antifa-connected Iranian anchor baby, the sympathizer with the Iranian regime, the person who I believe is a foreign agent, an unregistered foreign agent, someone who is promoting all this online hate against ICE, against Donald Trump and the administration's efforts, and putting law enforcement at risk. That is who Jeremy Hales has thrown his lot in. We'll play it again. He admits it right here.
He's finally been served after all of his dodging and fake addresses. Dick Luthmann is in another federal case in Florida right now for witness intimidation, defamation, and with the collaboration of their legal team, the plaintiffs, we got him served right there outside of the courthouse.
So that part's not true. They never got me served, but what's true is they spoke to the other side, and he believed that he got me served. And when you know something about the law, it's a matter of what's going on in the person's mind, right? It's a matter of they believe something happened. That's all the proof that you need. The feds do it all the time. The federal government, they'll stage fake events. They'll stage a fake hit on somebody to let somebody think that, okay, yeah, I believe that I ordered somebody to get hit and killed. You know, they'll do this with mob bosses and drug dealers, and they stage it. Well, this is all we need. He has the belief. He believes that that the plaintiff here, Danesh, and his lawyers are collaborated to get me served with papers. They're collaborating to do something. I get to investigate the full lengths of their collaboration. That's going to be a beautiful thing. It's going to be a beautiful thing. So I'll play some more.
He's in court right now. And when he's on the stand, this is day 2, all he does is plead the fifth or say, no, this is reporter privilege.
That is true. He identifies the May 2025 hearing that I was at. And at that hearing, I asserted my Fifth Amendment and reporter's privilege rights. He has intimate knowledge of that proceeding. He wasn't at the proceeding. So he either has the transcripts or he heard from somebody who was at the proceeding, right? And that was the day of, so he couldn't have had the transcripts. They weren't produced yet. He spoke to somebody with knowledge of those proceedings where I took the Fifth Amendment and asserted reporter's privilege, as is my right. And he spoke to someone. I get to know who that person is. Who are the people that told you what I did in the courthouse, right? I get to check his emails. I get to check his phone records. I get to check all sorts of fun stuff. His messenger messages. I get to check everything for Jeremy Hales and for Randy Shockett and for Doreen Turner Inglis and any other lawyers that he had, because there's no privilege. I get those documents. He's admitted that there was collaboration here, and I get it in my case. So this guy did it to himself. This guy did it to himself.
He won't answer any questions. And yet he's online saying he's going to destroy this other plaintiff and even me. Remember?
Now, that's the only part I think that he's gotten right. Jeremy Hale's a moron, but at least he knows that it's over for him. It really is. He's going to be destroyed. And the fact is, he thinks that this is fun, right? He thinks that he's going to get Palomop out of it. He thinks he's going to make money off. And that's great. I want him to make a lot of money. I want Danesh to make a lot of money too, because I'm going to take it all. I am going to take it. I'm taking the Otter Creek house. Jeremy, I'm going to have you evicted from the Otter Creek house. That is what's happening now. You will be evicted. You're going to be delinquent and evicted because I'm going to have a judgment against you. It's going to be a lot of fun. Is it going to happen tomorrow? No. It might take me a few years, 3, 4, maybe 5, but you're going to be out. You're going to be out of there. It's going to be so much fun in between. It's going to be great. And it's going to be your just desserts. So that's what's going to happen here. Mark my words, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to stop because there's no reason for me to stop. Really, I have nothing to lose here. I said this on Lisa's broadcast the other day. There is nothing left to lose for Rich Luthmann. I have nothing to lose. Nothing. Jeremy does. He's got houses. Ohio. He's got Otter Creek. He's got a bank account. He's got also. And guess what? I'm going to know everything that he has very, very soon. He'll know everything that I have too. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. I'll give him all my medical records. I'll give him all my financial records. I'll give him anything he wants. If he wants to do a medical examination himself, I'll let him shine a flashlight wherever he wants. You know, and that's the beautiful part about this, because I'm going to get it all, and I'm going to get his house. This is what's going to happen. I'm taking the house in Otter Creek. We're going to make the Jeremy Hales Memorial Garden an actual memorial garden, because he's going to die of shame probably. I feel that he's going to die of shame after I take his house from him. We'll put a tomb there. We'll say, here lies Jeremy Hales, and a memorial tomb to Jeremy Hales, because he's collaborated with Danesh Noshirvan, and we have it on tape. So that's what we got. So I was only supposed to come on for a few minutes to gloat, but because I've been gloating so well, I've been gloating really, really well. I've been gloating for over an hour at this point. So I wanted to I'll bring it back to the basics. Jeremy Hales' brigade of idiots and morons and losers attacked me on YouTube. Danesh Noshirvan's brigade of morons and idiots, losers, and AI bots. And maybe Jeremy has AI bots too, because some people said they think that he has AI bots. And so the problem is that they attacked my YouTube, they knocked it off, and now it's back. After 2 weeks, I'm talking to YouTube, they put it back on. The reason why they knocked it off is because I'm getting too close in the litigation against Danesh and now against Jeremy Hales. They're trying to stifle me in the litigation because this is not just a legal war in court. This is a media war as well. And I am winning the messaging because I have the truth on my side. I'm not a total idiot. Helen wants to know, why is this relevant to the discussion? Well, that's exactly right, Helen. I think you came in a little late. But the point is that the reason why I'm loading today is because they had my channels down for 2 weeks. They hit me with mass attacks and brigades. And, you know, it is what it is. So that's why this is important. This is me announcing that I'm back and announcing that I'm coming downrange on these people. I'm coming downrange on Jeremy Hales and his whole crew. I'm going to bring them into the lawsuit because they're going to be fun. And then I'm going to be coming downrange on Danesh Noshirvan. I already asked the court to do that. And I'm going to be coming downrange on their lawyers. Neither one will sit down and confer with me correctly. But I'm going to confer with them. I'm going to ask both judges I want to confer. But we're going to have some fun with these cases. These cases are going to have a lot of fun. And I think that we're doing this because Helen understands it. That's okay. I get the question. You're asking some other idiot why they're a moron. Helen's a very smart person. I know that. I think maybe she was setting me up with the question. But that's very good, Helen. If they're a moron, let them know that they're a moron. Okay? There's a lot of morons out there, and let them know there are a lot of morons out there. Okay? Now, Truth Prevails, though, is not a moron. I like Truth Prevails because the state is trafficking in family court. And I talk about that a lot. That's one of the things that I do talk about, with everything, with family court and kids. And that's why the idea that Jeremy Hales is supporting Danesh Noshirvan, who creates potentially child prawn. They like to say prawn. I can't say P-R-O-N, whatever the hell they say it. I can't say the word anymore. No! But they're claiming that I do it. I do revenge prawn, right? But he is teaming up with Danesh Noshirvan, who creates the exploits children. He exploits children. He also is a very, very bad person because he is a foreign agent, in my opinion, for the Islamic Republic of Iran. And hopefully, Trump is right. They only have a few days left. I don't think that they're going to be around much longer. If they keep up the way that they keep it up, I don't think they're going to be around much longer. And so it is what it is. But I think that's it for now. I'm going to be taping something with Volpe in about a half hour. We're going to put that out as well. That's going to be a fun show about 2 different First Amendment cases. And there are 2 high-profile reporting cases, one with Kash Patel and his lawsuits against different groups because of the things they're saying about him, different reporters. There's also, I don't know if we're going to talk about the Laura Loomer case, which is the one with where she sued Bill Maher, who's the talk show host and the comedian on HBO, and Bill Maher just won that case. And there's another one where now there's the Blaze got sued for falsely identifying a woman related to a bombing through AI, walking and gait. So we're going to talk about some First Amendment stuff, reporters getting sued, First Amendment type cases, and that'll be on too. But stay tuned because there's going to be a lot more coming on Danesh Noshirvan and on Jeremy Hales. And so if you haven't heard it yet, we are going to take Jeremy Hales's Otter Creek house. John, I'm going to be your new neighbor, John Cook. Their house over there, we're going to take it, and we're going to get a judgment against Jeremy Hales, and he's going to have to give me that house. I'm going to get I don't care what, I'm going to get the judgment so much more than that house is worth against him that I'm going to say, just give me the house, and we're going to settle for the house. And the agreement that he has to leave the state of Florida and never come back. That's what I'm going to want. He has to leave Florida. So that's what we're going to end up doing. And I think I have it. I have him, and I have some of his ecosystem in there too. Have some of his brigade of people. I'm going to take them out. I'm going to sue them, they're going to have to owe me money too. And I might, after I get my money against them, I might have to make them pay me a little bit. I might make them pay me the whole thing. Or I might forgive them if Jeremy agrees to leave Florida forever and give up the Otter Creek house. And, then we'll have a place. Bearded, you have a place to stay. We'll have an extra little annex over there for everybody to go hang out in. It'll be a fun place. So that's what we have to do also. And I know people are saying you have to get Tubetown also. What do I got to do on Tubetown? I'll figure that out. I'll figure out Tubetown. I'll figure out what that means. And then what we'll do is we're going to get Jeremy to leave Florida for good. I think that's a very positive and a popular thing that can happen. So that's what we're going to end up doing. All right, folks, almost 2:30 now, so I'm going to sign off. And everyone have a nice day. And yeah, that's that. Jeremy, hey Germ, that's for you. I said that at the very beginning, but I'll say it now. Hey Germ, I wanted to let you know that I'm coming to take your house in Otter Creek when I counterclaim against you for millions and take you for everything that you're worth, and you're going to have to leave the state of Florida and give up your Otter Creek house, or else you're going to be bankrupt. So you have a nice one. Ta-ta. Goodbye, everybody.